Hey folks, welcome to the Leeds View podcast on a Monday, not a Tuesday. I'm probably going to be changing these to more of a Monday and Wednesday instead of a Tuesday and Thursday situation just for workload at the moment. But we're starting today nice and fresh on the back of what was a horrendous performance by a referee. But before we get into any of this, if you want to support the channel, you can do so by liking the video that you're watching, or if you're listening on the audio platforms, giving us a star rating or a follow on any of the platforms that you're consuming this content on. Also, we've got some affiliate links down below, even 8% off with okjerseys.com. If you want to get some World Cup shirts for a World Cup summer or any tracksuits for your kids, you can check that out down below. Reasonably priced stuff, and you can get it with a discount as well. You can check all that stuff out down below. I'm joined by Paul and Gerry to look back at the weekend's action, to talk about Leeds United and what was a game that, instead of talking about football, we're probably going to spend most of this venting about a referee who probably shouldn't be allowed near a football pitch again. Paul, first things first, because Gerry was at the game, I want to get Gerry's live reactions to the atmosphere around it. Paul, what was your take at the weekend? How are you, first and foremost? Have you gotten over this or calmed down yet? Because I haven't.
I am. After the way that the results went, I'm a lot calmer than what I was. So because of that, I tried to look at things without feeling too emotional about it. But then I remember what happened during the game yesterday, and it brings me all the way back to where it was. So I was like you. Halftime came around, and I'm literally sat there going, "What? Wow!" Plus a myriad of expletives that, because we've only been recording for 1 minute and 50 seconds, I can't use yet. So it just, there comes a point where you think, and again, you don't want to do the conspiracy theory thing, but is it ineptitude? Is it
agenda?
Or is it they're so scared of their own shadows now that they don't know what to do? And I think referees are supposed to be above reproach. You shouldn't be sat mentioning referees' names after a game. If they've done a good job, then we always say, or we've said during the game, "Oh, this ref's actually doing all right. I'm liking the way that he's letting the game flow." The ref should be anonymous, and the rule is that their decision should do no harm to the game. And I'm sorry, but the sending off of Gabriel Goodmanson did harm to the game. And then he didn't then continue with the manner in which that he was handing out the cards in terms of the level that he was at. He didn't then continue that on in the second half. And I've had people on my video that I did yesterday going, "We can't just blame referees." I've had people in chats that I've been in going, "Yeah, we can't blame referees because we're just in that." And it's just like, but it has an effect on the players. It has an effect on the players, whether you like it or not. It makes them go silly. It makes them just question everything. And my one takeaway from the game, apart from being absolutely annoyed with the referee, proud of the performance in the second half, and certain players really standing up and being counted, was that we need to start playing the game more, and we haven't done that this season. We need to be rolling around, and we don't like to see it, but unfortunately, that's the state of the game now. We need to be surrounding referees. We need to be rolling around. We need to be pointing at ankles when we fall over. We need to be, well, let's just do what Sarr did: run into Biol, then fall over like he's been poleaxed, and pretend that he's been absolutely kiboshed all over the place. What's he called? The defender, Convoy. I've got another name for him, but again, it's not Watershed.
Also starts with a C.
Yeah, no, I can't use it because of the Watershed. I don't care what people say. You do not celebrate like that. You just don't. Yeah, maybe you might get one of them because somebody's been sent off, but you don't do what he did. And then to have, and I've got nothing against Palace fans. I've got nothing against Palace as a team. But to hear their fans going, people complain about this because this is passion. This is what I want to see. It's like, no, this is a player being an absolute idiot, is what it's been. That could have caused a pylon. And let's have it right as well. That passion that he displayed in that resulted in 0 shots on target for a team
At home against 10 men.
at home. So you can take your passion and put it where the sun don't shine.
Yeah, and it's not. I mean, Wayne Rooney was talking, and it says an awful lot when I'm quoting Wayne Rooney on the Leeds podcast. But Wayne Rooney said it was an absolute disgrace for any player to celebrate a fellow professional getting sent off like that, because there used to be a rule amongst professionals that you don't do that. You don't look to get someone sent off, and you don't celebrate them when they do get sent off. Now, again, a little fist pump of going, right, lads, come on, yeah, we've got a chance here now to, But you're right. I mean, and to be fair, good job I'm not playing, and a lot of people who are listening or watching this aren't playing, because if I saw him doing that, I'm going straight for him. Next tackle, or even before tackle, I'm going for him right now, and then I'll see what happens afterwards. But it was over the top reaction. It's not passion. It went on way longer than it should have. It was almost theatrical at that point, that it was being done for show. He was trying to get it right. Maybe he was trying to get somebody else sent off and get Leeds players to react to that. But but it seemed to galvanize Leeds. We will talk about the performance as well. So to Paul's point, it's not all about the referee. There were things happened in the first half that we do need to talk about from a performance level before we ever got to this stage. And we will talk about that, because I did this in a review at the Sunderland game. There are multiple things to talk about. There is the referee. There is the first half performance. There is the penalty. There are things that we will talk about that all had an impact on that game. We went into that, Gerry, thinking 3 points maybe here. The lineup was the lineup we wanted to see. Maybe Bogle and Justin, but Justin's been fine in that position as well, so not a huge issue. Will we get 2 up top? We ended up getting Metcha just behind DCL, but we got an attacking lineup from Daniel Farke, and he said after the game, we went to win that game, and then the referee decides to get involved in the match, doesn't send Brennan Johnson off for what were far more tactical fouls than what Gabby Goodmanson picks up, doesn't even the playing field when he has an opportunity in the second half that nobody would have complained about. And then we're talking about a referee at the end of the game rather than talking about Leeds getting a massive point in the grand scheme of things because of how the game panned out, because of the referee.
Well, I thought the ref was okay. Sorry, I'm just doing an impression of Dermot Gallagher and all the other former referees.
Mark Clattenburg, yeah.
Oh,
Keith Hackett didn't agree with him. Keith Hackett said
Keith Hackett's always good. I was going to mention Keith's always decent and gets it spot on. Well, what a week it's been before that. Ireland won Cheltenham. Ireland won the Oscars. Ireland won the Triple Crown of England. Fair play to you. Fair play to England. What an effort. And I got to London on Saturday night to watch my lad doing his St. Patrick's Day gig. That was good. All the old favourites.
I don't know.
And Sunday, I was staying in Kilburn to drive down through London, 20 miles an hour zones the whole way. It was driving me mad. Nice car park, which had a security guard that looked like Howard, who used to do the Halifax ads. You remember Howard, little round glasses?
Yeah,
really nice. Yeah. And going into the ground, the drugs dog, of course, sniffed me out, and somebody pulled me back. It turns out I had dog treats in my pocket, which got me away with it. It was all right. Crystal Palace, I said a lot of times, Crystal Palace is a good
I'm glad
stadium.
You said Palace after that dogs question.
Yes. Yes. But the Palace has always got a good atmosphere, but there was a load of kids dressed in black with a drum and behind the gun. It was very insipid. They're a club in trouble, and they had an eagle. One of these 2 dressed up eagles. Sorry, I'm going to have to tell you this.
No, go for it.
And the Leeds fans, as you do, you say, "What the F and hell is that?" And he pointed at his backside, and I thought, you're supposed to be kids thing. But anyway, that was one thing. Halftime dancing girls from the 90s, and I thought, why don't they get a dog display team running after the Eagles and ripping them apart? That was my thoughts on that. It's
for legal reasons. The views
for
that have
animal
just
rights
displayed
purposes.
No, that particular
Harry McNamee.
That particular eagle. Oh Jesus, that wound me up more than anything. A lot of fans noticed that, but in the ground, Leeds fans excellent, but very angry, annoyed.
Yeah,
we could see what happens. If you just go straight to the incident. Goodmanson, maybe he pulled his shirt and it's a foul when he gets booked the first one. Second one, I didn't even know it was a foul. And the ref,
anybody did.
Remember Graham Poll gave 3 yellow cards at the World Cup and sent somebody off. You could see, caught in the headlights, oh, I've already booked him. Oh no, and I'm going to have to send him off now. Some referees, the conspiracies of referees are bent. I don't necessarily think that, but this guy was useless, incompetent. He was constantly... there was tactical fouls by Palace, let them go. Brandon Johnson, not Brandon, is it Brandon Johnson? Brendan, whatever his name is. Yeah, the prick that he is. He was 4 fouls, and worse than anything that Goodmanson had done. And he just got away with it. And there was, as you say, that guy that was cavorting when he was sent off. Ungentlemanly conduct, or just give him a smack in the mouth. I mean, either way, he should be punished for it.
At least.
It's ungentlemanly conduct. I was listening to Bryn Lott on Square Ball, guys, and somebody was saying about VAR and all that. Why not look at some of these incidents afterwards? Players dive, and if they go down with head injuries and there's no way they have a head injury, or they do stuff like that, 1 match ban, it would cut it out straight away. And that's. I'm just seeing football. What I've seen this weekend with Chelsea doing that silly huddle around the referee.
Ridiculous.
What's David Brent crap? Really makes you angry. And seeing players fall. The Premier League stinks this year. It really stinks. The whole thing. It's the standard of football and everything else. And Paul's right. We're probably not up to speed on the dark arts, and we probably just need to do it the last few games. But I wouldn't like to see my team cheating like that. I wouldn't. I mean, Luke Ayling that was his move. We used to laugh, but it was overall it was a good point, and what a good team performance, and that's dug in. And at the end, I saw the footage of Goodmanson going over to the fans and shaking hands with them and everything. These are good. These are good lads, and they fought yesterday. And to be honest, Palace are poor, and if we stay up, I think they're in trouble. They really are in trouble. They were so poor. They had, other than the goal that was disallowed, which wasn't by much. They didn't have anything. And when you're away from the angst of the game, and afterwards you look back, and think we were never in any trouble there. Never in any trouble. And this penalty, Brendan dragged one wide. I mean, we didn't have many shots ourselves, but probably missed a chance. But the overall picture is another weekend's gone. Nothing's changed. Tick the game off, and it could have been worse. But Tottenham we didn't expect. So that the main things that annoyed me, just generally, on trains for Leeds fans. 4.5 hours drive home from Croydon. I hope Palace. I don't like going there. Decent chip shop nearby, but other than that, it was okay.
Always looks like.
Other than that, it was great.
You need to get a tetanus shot on the way out of the ground rather than on the way into the ground. It's that kind of a place.
It's
old.
It
hasn't changed in years. There's a lot of factors to this. We talked about the referees who've made comments, and Mark Clattenburg's quotes where I thought were just absolutely ridiculous. What he says, Mark Clattenburg said that Gabby was a reckless challenge in midfield with speed and a degree of force. He's barely, if even, touched him at all. And the player's gone down in a heap. They didn't stop and look for it. We didn't stop and look for it. Nobody stopped to look for it. Referee, I'll just flash the yellow card and walk away. And then he realizes what he's done. Keith Hackett said that it was, what's the exact? I'll get the exact quote. So I don't want to misquote a referee because, referees are like, Keith Hackett, his comment on it, he said he wasn't given a yellow card for either challenge. The referee made a hash of the first one. He said it was right to give a free kick in the second one, but not a card. And he said it highlighted the level of unacceptable inconsistency in refereeing. Wayne Rooney described it as a disgrace. And there's plenty of people who have had opinion on it as well. One referee described it as an embarrassing performance. So, I mean, he's been weighed in on by plenty of people. But it's not the first time we've had issues with Thomas Bramall. Go back to Luton last year when they were allowed to kick absolute lumps out of Leeds and get away with it. He reffed that game. I believe he refereed a game this season as well. And Daniel Farke had problems with him as well. Fair play to Farke for keeping his head because he was on a yellow card and he did get sent off last week. So he has to be very careful what he says. He called them strange decisions. But Gerry, you talked about there's been a good bunch of players. And Paul, I'll get your take on this. There was a level of resolve needed in that second half. And we knew what Daniel Farke was going to do. We talked about it on our watch along on the chat. We're saying you'll see Gruev now come on in midfield and we'll, a rejig of the shape here. James Justin went to left back. Bogle comes on at right back and Aronson and Metchie come off. I thought Metchie was having a decent enough game. He was kind of running beyond it. Again, I saw MOT Leeds news. I don't know where they're getting these headlines. Last week, Dan James after Norwich was being sold after an embarrassing performance when he was really, really good. And they said Metchie was rubbish in this game. I was like, I don't think he was actually. I thought he was having a decent enough half in what was an awful game of football. It was definitely not a game for the purists. But Leeds have to rejig the shape. And then all of a sudden, Yacobiol, I was saying at halftime, he has to come off now because he's going to get sent off. He's going to get sent. And he doesn't. He manages to make sure. And maybe that's because we're sitting deeper and he's not getting run around. But he manages to managed that out, and you can trust him to do that, and was very dominant in what he had to do. I thought he had a very, very strong game. The clean sheet away from home against Crystal Palace, who, regardless of anything else, are still a side playing football in Europe and have good players. Had Mateta and Strand Larson, kept them to literally nothing.
Yeah.
And Ethan Ampadu, I thought, was absolutely stellar in that second half. I thought there's a player who has taken what's happened in the first half, bottled it up, put it right in the middle of them, and just gone through brick walls now in the second half to make sure that we get this result and get something out of this game. And I thought second half, from what it had to be, and it's a real shame that it had to be the way it had to be, but they had to get a result. Now, some people have said Farke should have gone for it in the last 10 minutes. Problem is, if he goes for it, he could leave the back door open and get done. But I thought, to a man, they stood up yesterday and they've managed to come away on a weekend that, yeah, it could have been a lot better, but it could have been a hell of a lot worse as well. And we've come out of that going into 8 games left in exactly the same position that we were in going into this weekend. So from that perspective, it's a game down. We've seen a steal again from this side when they need to do it. And I think a pretty impressive performance in the second half, considering everything they were up against.
Yeah,
it was. First sentence, Mark Clattenburg is a referee in Gladiators, and he's got suspicious hair, so I wouldn't take him particularly serious.
I wouldn't mind.
Didn't he go to Saudi Arabia or something to be a man?
He did, yeah.
He did. Yeah. So yeah, don't take him seriously. Yeah, you're dead right what you say. I mean, it was awkward conditions. Yes, very swirling wind, and yeah, there was a rain in the air, so it was difficult conditions in that respect. But I thought Gruev, when he came on, just did Gruev things when we needed Gruev stuff, and he was really good. And Ampadu, he's been a bit off it for the last few weeks. He was a proper captain yesterday. Joe Rodon, probably man of the match.
Oh,
I've seen this a few times when Bial gets a yellow card first time, I think he's in trouble. But he really can manage those situations. Although when you've got a referee like that and cheats like Sauer and others, it's very difficult. But he did manage. I mean, not even sure his first one was a yellow card because he fell. But he didn't. I don't think he put his hand on the ball. But sometimes you got to dig these games out, and this could. In the end of it, it could be 2 points lost, or could be a serious point gained. And West Ham must be thinking now, we've drawn with Man City, and we're still the same distance. And Forest the same. We're still the same distance behind. And I think in that respect, it's all good. But when you look at the team itself, I think he picked the right team yesterday. We were glad to see 2 up top. I think Bogle been in there again. Bogle did start, didn't he? I'm not dreaming this. Bogle was on.
I was on bench.
Was Bogle?
No, on bench.
Bogle on the bench. Yeah, but I think just trying to fit Bogle into a forward position wasn't working. We were trying to shoehorn him in. You just got to be ruthless and get the players in. And Justin, not going to give you the attacking option, but maybe that was the right one today. But with these two now, with Goodmanson out for a game, you've got a natural someone that can step in as well. So the back 5, if you like, isn't going to be that disrupted. And mention for Carl Darlow, I know it was an offside goal. He didn't know that, and he did claw one away, which looks going wide. He didn't know that either, and he nearly got caught for one at the back yesterday. It just drives me mad this, but he nearly got caught early on when he was messing around at the back. But you forgive him that he got it away. Okay. But yeah, we battled and we were getting second tackles and everything else. And Palace, they passed for. And they were frustrated. And when they brought on the big lads at the end, Mateka? I'm terrible with names. Mateta, him as well. Brought him on, and Wharton, who's an England international.
Good player.
Yeah, he is a good player. He's one of the stars that's coming through. So we curtailed anything that they had. And it's a shame we didn't test out the keeper a bit more. He was first game in. And I suppose the penalty, definite penalty, no doubt about it. I'm sure I'm surprised the referee noticed that. And it was just a shame. I think he probably hit it too well, but he got his angles wrong, and that could have been. Everybody was saying the Mecha should have been taking 100% record, but you got a striker, the main striker. Two stats that scare me at the moment. Calvert-Lewin's got 2 and 11 now, and we've won 4 out of 21. Yeah. That's the 2 things. But luckily, a lot of those are draws, and we're still where we are.
Yeah, we're still chipping along points. I do need to correct people on the Mecha penalty statistic, by the way, because I've had it said to me so many times over the last. Lucas Mecha missed his penalty against Manchester City. He scored the rebound, but he missed the penalty. So him and Dominic Calvert-Lewin have both taken 3 penalties this year in the league. In normal time, and they both scored 2 directly. and both missed one directly. So Mecha did score the rebound, but he did miss against Man City. So this thing that Lucas Mecha
That's
scored
what I
out of the
said.
penalty, he didn't. He didn't. So, and DCL is apparently the penalty taker. Now, there was an interesting, Paul, I get your take on the second half, but there was an interesting point made about the penalty as well. Of Calvert-Lewin normally likes to go to the right-hand side. The keeper went really early, and I think that might have forced Dominic Calvert-Lewin to just go quickly snap and drag it wide as a result of that. But Paul, what were your thoughts on that second half performance?
It's what you want to see. It's the identity of the team, isn't it? We've talked about this, and it's one of the things that we all really like about this team this year. You know, Gerry said it himself with Goodmanson going over to the crowd and apologising, and he didn't have to apologise for anything as far as we're concerned. But he goes over, he apologises, and it's there isn't egos in this team. That's how I feel about it. I don't think there are egos. I don't think there are superstars in terms of attitude. I think they're a group of players that are trying very, very hard to work towards a common goal and to try and do what they need to do. And all that we ever ask of this squad is that they put in effort and they show guile and they show fight and heart and all of that kind of stuff. And they did that in the second half. We all thought, when the player gets sent off, we just thought, well, it's only a matter of time. We've conceded 14 goals in between 75 and 90 minutes. It's going to happen. Yep. But I think from a mentality point of view, for them boys to hold out like they did for the whole of that second half, and you'll get a lot of Palace players going, look, we've been really poor for ages now. We can't get a thingy it doesn't matter. What our guys were doing is they were breaking up the play. They were putting bodies on the line. Getting the second balls. We weren't getting second balls in the first half. We started to get second balls. We started to get second balls in the second half. So we're seeing that fight and that determination, which makes, missing. I firmly believe, and I'm not going to lay blame at Calvert-Lewin's door for this one because people miss penalties. It's part and parcel of being a footballer.
Yeah.
So I actually firmly believe if he scores that and Gabby gets sent off, I think we win that game. I still think we win that game. Had his head been a little bit more to the right or to the left, then it might have gone in. Had that ball been forced over the line rather than it just nearly, then that was millimeters. That could have been different. But Stack's volley towards the end of the game, he could have made something out of that. But the second half was, I think that performance alone could be extremely key for us moving forwards for the next few games. I think the clean sheet. I think lads, just don't shut up. I think the clean sheet. I think the level of performance for the players. I think everything about what they did in the second half should give them confidence for the next few games coming up. That's how I think that game could be pivotal in that. Just the way that the second half at Man City was, that could be really pivotal, really, really pivotal.
Yeah, we need to make sure they're all fit and healthy as well. I don't think Dominic Calvert-Lewin's knee was 100% yesterday either. The leap wasn't there. He wasn't winning the ball in the air. He wasn't getting ahead of people. He was slower in pressing the ball than he has been recently as well. There is a question mark. Are some players maybe going off the boil a little bit as well? I mean, people are talking about Brendan Aronson. It's not a criticism at all of Brendan Aronson. He's gotten through so much work this year. The distance that kid has covered on the ground. So, but Daniel Farke needs to start using that bench a bit more as well. Like he needs to make sure that the Willie Gnonto's getting minutes. Dan James is there as an option as well. There are things that they can do, and if he's not going to play the two directly up top in Mecha and DCL, which he didn't against Palace, it was Aronson and Mecha behind him, then I think he can play a Dan James or a Willie Gnonto in there to run beyond as well. So I think he can do things like that. But it just means that we have Brentford now at home. We have picked up a point and we tick along again onto the next one. We'll put up on screen and we'll have a chat about where we are now. It's pretty much as it. Well, it is as is. It's exactly as in 15th place in the last 8 games, 30 games of the season gone. We're on 32 points. We're above that point per game average. That is the ultimate goal. It gets to 38 points. We'll need to be above that this season, Gerry, to make sure that we're in the Premier League next year. Yeah. But then you look at Spurs drawing with Liverpool. You just can't trust Liverpool and Man City right now to do anything for you, can you? A dreadful Liverpool. Just an awful game of football at a side that just plays talk about sideways pass, and people criticize Ilya Groove. Jesus Christ, if that's Ilya Groove, he would have a field day in that Liverpool team because It was all side to side. Then you got Nottingham Forest getting a draw against Manchester City again. Can't rely on anybody. West Ham getting a draw against Manchester City. Forest drew with Fulham. So we are where we are. It's exactly as is. You got teams, the bottom two sides now playing with absolutely no fear at all because it looks like they're done and dusted. So they're just playing with the handbrake off and enjoying life and trying to get moves for themselves next season. But we go into the Brentford game now, Gerry. They're 7th in the league. They've a mid-ish table away record. We have to try and go and win something, get something this because the 4 home games that remaining, we need to get wins in those 4 games because if we want to try and get 9 points, 3 wins are going to have to come at home or 1 away, and we've only won once away from home this season.
Yeah, I think so. Well, if you look at the next fixtures, Tottenham play Forest, so this could be the pivotal week. If we beat Brentford, either one of those are going to drop points. Hopefully, a draw I think would be the perfect result. West Ham, they've got Aston Villa, who are on a dreadful run. And you think the way West Ham's playing, they could get something from that. So I think that means we really got to win today. Excuse me, I've had a cough all week, so sorry. I think Wolves play Brentford tonight, and Brentford, when we played them in London, a game we probably should have won. Probably again, and our record against them at Ellen Road's pretty good. And I think there's no reason. I think this could be under the lights, as you said, that the fighting spirit and the sense of adversity and being hard done by. I think that can be built on, and I think if we can come out of the traps. I think if we beat Brentford at the weekend, I think we're almost there, and that's a big thing to say. But I think psychologically and everything else, and I say I have a feeling Tottenham may turn it around now. Forest can't score. They've scored 1 goal out of 99 chances. And you feel the luck's going against them. I think their striker was, offside by a toe. And I think they said it's a heel. And I think they said his boots were size 10, apparently size 6. So I think they were robbed a bit in that. So but again, we're looking at a group of games again, and just to see. Can we go another week? And again, if we come out of this again, it's still the same position, no harm done, but this is a chance to go ahead.
Yeah. After we get Brentford out of the way, Manchester United, we will have to play Spurs, West Ham, Burnley, and Wolves. Now, Leeds have been very good against the sides in the top half of the table, not so good against the sides in the bottom half of the table outside of West Ham at home, but that was a West Ham side that were in really bad form at that point, Paul. So you're looking at this, you've got Spurs and Forest playing each other, someone's dropping points there. If not both sides are dropping points there. And if we can get a win, which again, it is an if, you could potentially open up a, what is it at the moment? 2 point, 3 points, 5 point gap, 6 point gap to the 2 sides below you. You'd want that gap if you are going to go away to Spurs, just in case, part of me was very happy, Paul, that Spurs did get a draw because a draw is not too offensive, doesn't really help them too much. And it probably keeps Igor Tudor in a job for a little bit longer, which means there might be more defeats to come. Europe depending. Forest, I think it's us, Forest or Spurs. I think West Ham will get out of trouble. I think their form is very strong. I think their attacking momentum is very good. Of all the sides down there, I think that they're the one. Unless, Paul, they are just completely disheartened by the last couple of weeks. They've been chipping away and still not making any progress.
Well, I've said on X, you can't have anything other than praise for West Ham, whether you like them or dislike them or not. The turnaround in form for them over the last 5 games that you can see there, they've picked up 6 points over the last 5 games. So the results have been good. They were not very good against Man City, but then again, who does look good against Man City? It was more the case of Man City just for whatever reason were unable to score. It wasn't down to brilliant saves. It was the final ball that was causing the problems for them. You've got to think that psychologically there'll be some players in there that will be thinking, geez, what do we have to do to get out of the bottom 3? What is it that we actually need to do to get out of the bottom 3? And it's whether or not that starts to have an effect on them at all. There's a potential for that. And I've talked about it a lot, and it's whether or not the teams that are in and around us have the fight in them to do this relegation thing. I would say West Ham potentially do. I would say Forest, not so much. But maybe I can only think of one player, and that's Morgan Gibbs-White, who has been standing up and being counted.
Anderson's been good as well, to be fair.
Yeah, Anderson's probably one of my other favourite players of this season across the whole of the Premier League. He ran the show when we beat them at Ellen Road. He absolutely ran the show. But from a Tottenham point of view, I don't think these players have a clue what they need to do, how they need to do it. They're relying on Mr. Gray to lead them through, which is absolutely bizarre. But I don't think they have the fight for it. I think, along with what Gerry said, I think this weekend could be very, very pivotal. Very, very pivotal. I think we have the opportunity to go at it and pick up points this weekend. Definitely a win. I think that Aston Villa at home are a different prospect sometimes as a case to being away from home. I think the Spurs and Forest game is interesting because Forest aren't very good away and Spurs are appalling at home. They've only picked up 10 points all season, so it's how is that going to determine itself? It's not going to be it's not going to be games for the purists by any stretch of the imagination. So we'll have to wait and see how it all pans out. But the thing is it's the fight and it's the willingness to go that extra yard for each other. You know, when you look at West Ham, it's whether or not you know you've got Bowen that's going to pull every forward, maybe Souček that might do the same sort of thing as well.
Yeah.
But from Forest and Tottenham's point of view, I'm struggling to see the players that are really going to stand up and be counted. We talk about, you know, Biol getting the yellow card. We all said he should have come off, but in that second half, he just knuckled down and did his job. And that Biol is one of the best, and I'm going to say it, is one of the best centre-backs in the division for me, just in terms of the way that he's played and the players that he's kept quiet. And he kept 3 players quiet. And those types of players that stand up, Strout stands up to be counted. Rodon definitely does. Never looks happy about it, but he definitely stands up to be counted. You've got Ampadu leading by example. You've got, you know, DCL. Yeah, he missed the penalty. Fine. We have to get over that. But he stands up, keeps going, stands up to be counted. And you've got all of the other players that are looking to do the same thing as well. I've got confidence in this team. I've got confidence in this team in terms of that they're not going to give up or down tools. Not so much with the other squads off of what I've seen so far this season.
Yeah, and form is temporary, so it all depends. And we've got this round of games, and then we've got an international break, I believe. So like you want to get through this round of games, and then just be in a good place because you don't want to have to sit on 2 weeks worth of just negative thoughts, and then you've got an FA Cup game coming after that, and then you're back into the league again. So you're a while away from the next league game after this one. So you want to make sure you come out of this with a positive result. And for those who get the positive result, Gerry, that's plenty of it. We're right. Okay, we're moving again. We're in the right place, and it's a positive mindset. For those who don't get a positive result, they have to simmer on that for a couple of weeks, and that can eat away at you as well. And you go, the lads that are away, it's like, I'm looking forward to going back to this now and have to go back into that mess in that dressing room. So it can be psychological as well. Also, just on Biol, by the way, Rodon and Stroke, I thought were very, very good because where Biol is, he lets them play football, and I really like 100%. That. I think the two of them look so much more comfortable as well. 100%. Gerry, your thoughts on that? Just the mental approach that's needed come out of this game.
Yeah, I think the fact that we had to sit for a week and a bit on the Sunderland result, it doesn't help. As you say, it leads to wait. Yeah, I would prefer if we had a game on Saturday and one next Tuesday and get 2 quick good results, but that's the way it is. Yeah, I think you're right. Biol is. I think he's solid. He's an assassin. He's a hitman. Pascal yesterday as well didn't miss a beat heading, and Joe Rodon's Joe Rodon. He does what he does. So that the mentality, if we can win and there's a positive result and there's a shift in the points going through the international break, where Ireland qualify for the World Cup next week, by the way, we're off to Prague, got a ticket, and Dublin, and then we got the FA Cup, which seems a distraction now. I wish that was a bit further away. £15 a ticket. Fair play, West Ham. 15 quid. Fair play. That's got to give some credit.
Got to fill a stadium, don't they?
Yes, that's true. 9,000 Leeds fans in London on a Sunday afternoon. What could go wrong?
Possibly go
what
wrong?
Could possibly go wrong? It's their fault.
Yeah, I'm always surprised with Leeds fans how we're so good, because there's some odd people among us. I must say, I'm probably one of them as well. But they're a great bunch of lads. They're a
You should
great
see what
bunch
gets
of
said about you when you're not here.
I know, great bunch of eclectic lads. They really are. And then the next one's Man United on Monday night. 8:00 in Manchester. What could go wrong? Imagine getting a win at Brentford and then at Old Trafford to sort of cement everything. It'd be incredible. And why not? I mean, they're on a decent run, Scumchester, but can't win them all. And I think we're a match for anybody, as we've shown this season, except for Arsenal. We're a match for anybody, and why not? So, by the time we come out of Old Trafford at midnight on Monday the 11th or 13th, whenever it is, we could be safe in the Premier League and be heading to Wembley for the semi-finals. And that's how pivotal the next couple of weeks are, and Ireland in the World Cup as well. So that's how mad this all is. Yeah. So
Yeah,
I'm watching Dundalk.
I mean,
Dundalk are playing tonight. I've got Dundalk on the tally. Yeah, it's bank holiday in Ireland, isn't it, Jar? Isn't it? Bank holiday.
It is. It's Paddy's weekend.
Paddy's month. It's a month now. It's not a week or
Paddy's
a day.
month. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Bring back
anyway,
Arthur's Day. That's what I say. Yeah.
That's a wide range of yes. This is a big one, and get the points on the board, and hopefully it goes wrong everywhere else. They'll have to come back in form sometime. They're not a bad team. I think it's Emery's hair product. Do you ever see when he doesn't put his hair product all in, they don't play so well? He needs to go very slick and oily.
That doesn't move in the wind either, by the way. That stays where it is without even. Did you see the Spurs manager mistake? Yes.
Some random bloke for Arnie Slot.
And he did it.
He did, yeah. Says yourself, Arnie. You look different.
You looking slim.
Yeah, yeah.
I remember years ago, I was much younger, being in a restaurant. I was on a date with somebody, and a guy walked past me. I clocked him across the bar as he was walking past me with his girlfriend, and I thought, that's your man.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember his name, but I was like, we know each other. And as he walked past, I was like, how's things? How are you doing? And he just turned and went, who are you? And I went,
I know.
I actually don't know you. And then he just walked off and was like, God, Jesus.
I did that once with somebody's. I did that something with somebody's really identical twin brother. And when I was talking to him about something, I was wondering why he was looking a bit vague. I think he says, you got the wrong brother. And I thought, that was it. Yeah. I didn't even know he had a twin, but then I found it. But anyway, that's an aside.
Yeah. It happens all of us. I have a friend of mine, and I was living in Blanchardstown at the time, and she sent me a text, and she just said to me, you're incredibly rude. And I was like, what are you talking about? And she said, I'm in the bar in Navan. I'm in this place, and I walked past you twice, and you've ignored me twice. You've looked at me. I was like, all right, you sure it's me? She goes, yeah, you're complete. I can't believe how rude you are. And I was like, okay, go over and say hello. Next, just got a message back about half an hour later going, you're a bastard. And that was it. That was the end of that. So, yeah, it happens. It happens to us all, but it was the fact that it was gone. It's up there with Mick McCarthy getting scared by nothing, you know?
Yeah. Women have said that to me before, but probably worse things. But never mind. That's a whole other podcast, isn't it?
I say,
it is. Adventures of Gerry McNamee. Yeah.
Yes. Eagles, dogs, and
legal reasons. That is satire. We don't need to look into anything that Gerry McNamee's done in his life. He is whiter than white.
Squeaky clean. That didn't happen. Yeah. All right. Well, I don't think there's a whole lot else to talk about, lads. We're back on Wednesday.
Not after that.
Okay, but not after that. No. Yeah.
Chelsea. Or do you want to save that for the news tomorrow?
No, because it doesn't have anything to do with
it. Oh, yes, that's that.
Chelsea have been given a suspended transfer ban.
That showed them, didn't it?
Illegal payments, like a £10 million fine. Like, and they're like, it's their academy that's been hit. You're like, but hang on a second, it's Eden Hazard, Drogba. There's loads of players been mentioned in this.
They're finished. They're clubbing the disastrous thing. Oh, that really shows them, doesn't it? Wow.
They should have got a fine just for that huddle in the centre circle, because they wanted the ball to be centre of the huddle. Like, get a grip of yourselves, lads, will you? What?
It's an absolute disgrace.
Let them fall apart. But that was the most tin pot thing I think I've ever seen from a football club. And I gave Senior a very small amount of credit a couple of weeks ago, and I said, I think he's just winding the press up with all this stuff. I don't believe he does any of this. And then I saw that and went, are we messing here? Like, are we? You're not a very serious club, right? And then you lose, and you look like a moron.
He's been on the David Brent management course. doesn't he? Really, but it's just the Premier. If that had been us, if we'd done that, it'd be 10 points. I think Paddy Power said it today. They said Chelsea £10 million fine, blah blah. Everton had been deducted 10 points. You know that they would have thrown the book at us. We got fined 200 grand for some bloke walking down the road with a pair of binoculars in his pocket. 200
on a public path.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and I saw Sean Harvey on the Wrexham documentary trying to talk about the EFL and how a hard time he had. Yeah, poor Sean.
Sean.
Really do.
I like the
Allegedly.
Wrexham documentary. We watch it, but every time he comes in on the TV,
Yeah, I fast forward.
I always go prick. Every time I see him, it's like prick.
Yeah, my missus she likes the Wrexham documentary. Why do you not like him? He seems a nice bloke. And then I explained to her in
Was
words
running your club for a while.
You would never say it to a lady. Yeah. He didn't know. Anyway,
Don't ask questions. Don't want the answers to.
Things that are unfair in football. It's just unfair. You know,
it's been an unfair week. It's been an unfair month, to be fair. A month and a bit for Leeds. We've had. Do you know what? We're done with the referees now. It's about time we start getting a couple of decisions. Fingers crossed. Mm-hmm. We can get it right. We'll wrap it up there because there's not a whole lot else to talk about. I'm afraid whatever tangents we'll end up going on, but we'll pack it in. You can check Paul out on the Leeds therapy. Details for his channel are down below. You can check this man Gerry McNamee out at JerryMac123 over on X if you want to get his dad jokes, which I highly, highly, highly recommend. He had a view out the other day as well, so go check them out. And it's St. Patrick's Day, so there you go as well. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
It's the day that Jesus came out of the desert to stop smoking fags or something like that, wasn't it? He's in there for 40 days.
It was Easter eggs, wasn't it? I don't know.
Easter eggs, yeah. No, they said you can do 40 days and 40 nights in the desert. We did this last time, but you can come out on St. Patrick's Day for a Guinness and some fags, and he did.
Yeah.
There was a pub in Nazareth or somewhere, an Irish pub. As the word,
O'Brien's. Yeah, I had a bicycle in the window.
Brian's in Nazareth.
That's how you know it's an Irish.
There probably is.
Have you seen the one of the Irish guy that's in hospital and he says, "I'm either really, really high, or or that's Jesus that's sat over there in the other bed beside me," and a guy that looks like Jesus does this.
He was great, Jesus. I mean, the water and the wine thing. Oh, jeez, that was
how useful. Okay, we're gonna get cancelled. Right, just for last week, because I hovered over editing last week and clipping it out because there is Christian people who watch this.
I'm sorry.
We're not serious. Listen, I'm a baptized Catholic.
Me too.
Extended bit. So
you can never get out. It's like a mafia.
But he did great things with water, and he should be given credit for it.
And anyway, loaves. Let's not get on to loaves. Yeah.
No, and fishes. Fill a steak, like. I mean, if you're gonna do something like that, fill a steak. I mean, well,
I'm getting married next year, and I need some bloke like that, fishes and loaves. But there we go. Anyway,
right. Good luck to you. See you soon. Bye.
Come on.